Today we're looking ahead to the 2024 NHL Draft. It might seem early, we just had the 23 draft not long ago, but lots of great prospects to look ahead to. This is our early look at the top 10 prospects in the 24 draft coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. I wanted to kind of kick off the 2024 coverage that we're going to provide here on the channel a little earlier this year. I know for the last few drafts, usually don't get into it till further into the NHL season once junior hockey's kind of started back up as well, and we can kind of see more about these prospects. But there's a lot of a lot of good prospects in this draft. It's going to be another good one like the 23 one, and obviously there's just a lot of players that have already been gaining a lot of attention out there. So I kind of wanted to get ahead of things and start paying a little closer attention to some of these prospects, so as the season goes along we can get to know them even better. So we're going to hop onto the computer. We're going to look through our top 10 prospects of the 24 draft as of now. Things are going to change. There's all kinds of programs we're going to see. The Hlinka Gretzky Summer Showcase. There's going to be World Juniors this fall. Their regular seasons, of course. All kinds of things are going to play out. The rankings are going to change a lot. Other players are going to emerge. Maybe bump some of these players out. But here are your top 10 prospects based on how things sit here today in middle of July. As of right now, the projected number one pick in the 24 draft is MACKLIN CELEBRINI, who's a Canadian-born player in Vancouver, BC. Actually grew up about 15 minutes where Connor Bedard grew up. So obviously that part of the country producing some high-level hockey players here recently. Of course, he's a forward. He mainly plays center. He's committed to playing at BU in the NCAA next year. 5'11", 181 pounds. He's a left shot. Very dynamic, dangerous, very deceptive forward. He's had one of the best rookie seasons we've seen in the USHL recently. 46 goals, 86 points. Scored the game-winning goal in overtime for the U18 Canadian team. Certainly somebody who's poised for the big time, and when the pressure's on, he certainly delivers. So Celebrini certainly right now has all the tools. He's rated number one currently by multiple draft ranking sites, so that's how things are looking as of today. Of course, things can change, but right now things are looking good for Celebrini to go first overall in 24. Second overall right now would be American-born forward Cole EISERMAN, who is ranked second by multiple draft ranking sites. This is going to be a special player as well. He's actually still 16 years old as I record this video. His birthday is at the end of August, so he'll turn 17 there and will be eligible for the 24 draft because he will be 18 before that season were to start. But he's a left winger, 5'11", 192. Certainly a player with a lot of skill, but his biggest attribute is his shot. This guy is an absolutely lethal shooter. And put up 69 goals and 104 points in 62 games played with the United States national team program. He's drawing comparisons to players like Austin Matthews and Alex Ovechkin because of his release and his shot. Now, I want to caution you, I can't guarantee he's going to turn out to be players like him, but the shot he has on him is drawing comparisons, which is, that's pretty special. And if you think he can be anything like them, he'll be a darn good player at number two, if not number one overall. Ranked third overall right now, we have ARTYOM LEVSHUNOV. You've already met the top center and the top winger in this draft class. Now let's introduce you to the top defenseman. Now he's currently played for Green Bay, the USHL, United States Hockey League. He is, like I said, defenseman, 6'2", 198 pounds. He was actually born in Belarus, but has been playing in the United States. Obviously, this guy projects right now to be a pretty high-end defenseman. Some say if he would be eligible in the 2023 NHL draft, he would have been the top defenseman pick. Now, we saw David Reinbacher go number 5 overall to Montreal. You had some other high-ranking defensemen in there too. And they say he probably is better than those guys. Now, he's obviously a year behind when it comes to his age and everything, so things can change, development can change, but that's how highly thought of he is by a lot of scouts. Great two-way defenseman, good hands, very high hockey IQ, very smart, and he can punish you with both physicality and putting the puck in the net with the offensive skill. So special two-way defenseman coming up here with this player. Right now, ranked number 4 overall, we have Ivan Demidov, who's a right winger. So we've got all positions covered now except for goalies. You've got the top center, left winger, defenseman. He's the top right winger so far in this draft. Of course, Russian-born player, right wing, 5'11", 168 pounds. Right now, he's a left shot as well. Ranked number 4 by most ranking services covering this prospects. Right now, this is a special player as well. And like Matvei Michkov, is signed to stay in Russia for at least a couple more years. Now, he is, right now at least, his contract is scheduled to expire in 2025. Now, of course, Michkov is beyond that. So you wouldn't be waiting too long. You'd only be waiting an extra year, which is not really all that unusual anyways. But he obliterated the top Russian junior league, statistically speaking, made his KHL debut this past year as well, and is really highly regarded as a very talented Russian winger. Next, we have the 5th ranked prospect in this draft, and that's centerman BERKLY CATTON, who's from the WHL Spokane Chiefs. Now, BERKLY is a player who's not overly huge, 5'11", 163. He's still 17 years old. He's got a January birthday, so he won't turn 18 until a few months partway through this coming season. Born in Saskatoon, so Canadian-born player. He had 55 points as a WHL rookie. Really hard-working center with a good mix of speed and skill. Extremely smart player and might have the best hockey IQ in this draft. Highly, highly regarded as possibly one of the smartest players. Personally, I think right now, I know it's early, but if he develops properly, could be a real solid two-way centerman in the NHL. Next up, the 6th ranked prospect in the 24th draft, we have defenseman Sam Dickinson of the OHL's London Knights. Now, Sam just had his 17th birthday in June. He's got excellent size, already 6'3", 194 pounds. By the time he's drafted, he's certainly going to be big enough and strong enough for the physicality that comes with being an NHL hockey player. So that part should be good. But he's a big, mobile defenseman. At this point, early in his junior career, is already considered very reliable in the defensive zone. Obviously, big adjustment to pro hockey, so that still takes some time for development. But the fact that he's defensively solid already at that level is a good indication of what he can become down the road. He's got a terrific shot as well. And, of course, we know the London Knights program is excellent and turns out probably more hockey players than just about any junior program around North America. So I think he's in good hands there with the Hunter brothers, and Sam Dickinson has a very bright future. The 7th ranked prospect in this draft is another defenseman, this time from Finland, Aron KIVIHARJU, defenseman playing in TPS and Liga. Now, KIVIHARJU is a player that I think if you would have looked at this back even a few months ago, he might have been ranked a little bit higher. Many scouts said he had definitely dealt with some growing pains, you could say, this past season. But certainly a player who could maybe work his way back up to be a little higher, a few spots at least before the draft comes around next summer. So obviously at this point, though, he's playing big minutes in Finland, playing against older players in the highest league, which is certainly very good for his development. He's playing around 21 minutes a night at that level, at that age, which is pretty solid. He's 5'10", 165. Likely needs to add a little bit more muscle, but still a really solid, another intriguing defenseman here from Finland in this draft. Next up, we have the 8th ranked prospect in the 24th draft, another player out of Finland, Konsta Helenius, who's a right winger, playing for Jukurit in Liga. Had a very special 16-year-old season playing in the top Finnish league, putting up 11 points in 33 games, and that might not sound impressive, but for that age and that league, that is extremely, extremely impressive. Of course, he plays a very physical game as well, not afraid to throw his body around. Great speed and skill that makes him a dominant play driver, and another player who some scouts feel, if he has a good, a good showing this year, could actually move up in the standings. Of course, the native of Finland plays center and right wing, 5'10", 168 pounds, and he shoots right as well, which certainly makes things even more intriguing as well. So certainly a player that's got a lot of skill, and we'll be watching this year to see if he can work his way up a little higher on this draft list. The 9th-ranked prospect in the 24 NHL draft is defenseman Henry MEWS, another Canadian-born player, born in Ottawa, also playing his junior hockey in the nation's capital for the Ottawa 67s, currently still 17, so he's got a March birthday, so that's when he'll have his 18th birthday next year. Currently, as of right now, 6 feet tall, 185, and he's a right shot. So obviously he's got pretty good size and strength for his age. If he grows a little more and gets even adds a few more pounds of muscle, that's going to make for a real solid NHL frame, hopefully in a year or two's time. But he certainly has that part looking pretty good for himself. But he's got a strong all-around game. He knows when to jump up into the rush without risking his positioning and getting caught up the ice. So he's a player who can contribute offensively. I know some might call him a little bit of a high-risk, high-reward type of thing, but the high-risk part that he's willing to take, I think he knows when to minimize that so that he doesn't get caught very often, which is great. Has great speed as well. So when he does take chances, he can make up for it on the odd chance he does get caught, and he's used to playing big minutes already. Certainly a player who I think is going to be another intriguing one here in the top 10 for sure. Put up 31 points in 55 games last year with the 67s in his first year in the OHL. The 10th-ranked prospect in the 24 NHL draft is U.S.-born defenseman Cole HUTSON. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because he's the younger brother of Montreal Canadiens prospect Lane Hutson, who's been absolutely tearing things up on the college level since he's gone there, since he's being drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. Very talented, entertaining and highly skilled defenseman. Cole HUTSON, by some regards, is going to be drafted higher, and something might even be better. Hard to say. He's a June birthday, so he just turned 17 recently. Right now, he's smaller, like his brother, 5'8", 143 pounds. He shoots left, ranked 10th on a multiple draft ranking systems here right now. Cole HUTSON, like I said, he's a very solid player with offensive skills. These guys are not necessarily going to be strong defenders at the NHL. They're going to be able to defend by keeping the puck away from you, skating the puck out, and just having more of an overall solid possession game and the ability to create offense on the other end of the ice. But he does have, there's definitely some knocks on his defensive game needing some work. But I think when he's on the ice making things happen with the puck on the offensive side, you don't really tend to think about that stuff a whole lot, but he's, like I said, he's a little bit bigger than his brother, but not much. He had a 68-point season last year, which is very impressive as well. And, I think hopefully some NHL scouts learn their lesson, letting his brother slip later into the draft and seeing what he's been able to do since then, that might help him obviously be a fairly high first-round pick. But Cole HUTSON, another dynamic defenseman from the Hudson family, who's going to be interesting to watch along with his brother in the NHL for years to come once they get their turn. It would certainly be really intriguing if there was any chance they get drafted to the same team, but hard to say where the Montreal Canadiens will be picking next year's draft. So that is our top 10 prospects for now. Of course, let me know your thoughts on these players or any other prospects you feel should be or will be in this list before all is said and done and we get to the 2024 draft. And if you want more coverage on the 2024 draft, as well as all the NHL news, trade rumors, etc. around the entire NHL, make sure you subscribe and stick around. This is the place to get all your updates on the entire league. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.